Okay, what we have here is the two polecats. We have the standard size, which is the red webbing one, and then the small version, which is the yellow webbing one. The standard size is designed to fit poles from 180mm to 450mm, and the smaller size is to go from 125 up to 285. This is to cover the range of different poles in the fleet. We've got one that's got a slide. What we're going to look at here is the pre-use inspection prior to use, the things to look for and the things we need to see. So coming up, initially we look at it, obviously is a visual inspection. The belt itself, is it whole, is it complete? Is there any glaring examples of cuts or damage or abrasion to it? Key point indicators that we look for is the adjustability in the device. When we pull through, does it lock in place? When we come to adjust it, does it open out? Carabiners, are they operative in a three-stage manner? Do they lock back and the gate close by itself? Check on the other side, same process. Does the gate open? Does it close and lock by itself? And a key one in this aspect here is this little fall arrestor shock absorber. Does it show a white label in this point here which says do not use? That will indicate that the belt has experienced a fall and is not suitable to use. We move on then through to the snap hook. Checking that it works. Again, as with the other process, is it a double action to move? Single action is not allowed, must lock in by itself. Checking the orientation. We then check through the belt itself, looking for cuts, abrasion, any damage which might indicate that it's been taken a fall or exposed to chemicals. As you can see on here, it does have a little bit of use onto it, so we've got some creosote, and one of the key things to look at is the tread on the grip section to make sure that it's complete. This is very much like the tread of your tyres on your cars, and you need to look through. If you can see, we have a small white stitch pattern based in here. This is where the eye scaff goes, and the stitch runs all the way along the edge of the rubber section on both parts. If your rubber has worn down to that stitch part, that's the point where we recommend you take the belt out of service. Predominantly you'll wear on the top and the bottom of the rubber sections, not the central part. These are the points that are in contact with the pole when you're climbing and when you're descending. So these are your wear points you will get. So don't think that because you've got a great section in the middle that it's fine, but it's almost bald on these sections. These are the points to look for, and those are your main points of wear. While I'm here, we're looking at the adjustment, particularly with the small one, which is labelled SM for small. This belt has LG for large onto it, for the diameters of pole. The adjustment is quite easy. You can just bring the webbing back. I've actually got this tied in place, cinched in place. Pull the adjustment pack. That extends the webbing out fully to meet the choking circle of a pole. For this pole, will be a little bit narrower, and to adjust back in, we tighten it in. Now you will see that this webbing is not attached to the rubber in this section. That allows us to cinch it down very, very small to fit those 125 diameter poles. Coming to it, I'm just taking the one side off again, leaving the belt in place. It's nice to the point where I'm not going to trip over it and move, and I don't need to worry about ever undoing that three-stage carabiner. We're just going to pass the belt around the pole like so, clip it in place, and all I'm going to do now is just check where the wear sleeve is. So I might want to move this up just a little bit. We want to try where possible to sit the rings within the wear sleeve, so the ring that can't be moved and the edge of the snap hook, keeping that here helps protect the lifespan of the rope for just a little bit longer. I'm looking round, I've got a pretty good position here to begin with. I'm looking at roughly about the kind of like 4 o'clock position and about the kind of 8 o'clock position for where the points come into. Now this can be adjusted slightly depending on your preference on where the hips sit on your D-ring. Some people like it to come into more of a taper point, other people like it slightly wider. Now we have dropped it in different orientations and different diameters. It will still bite, it will still collect even when the rings are in contact with each other, but it will drop slightly when we do that. So I'm looking at my position here, feeling pretty comfortable. I can set this a little bit tighter or a little bit looser. To begin with there, I'm looking at it and thinking that's okay. I've got my double checks in, everything's attached, shock absorber is still fine, all the orientation's there. I'll check this into place. What I can do is tuck this out of the way so it's not flapping and loose. And now I have a couple of options when I'm about to climb. I like to have a little bit of a test first, just get myself up to see vibration. So spike in and do it, have a check, quickly flick up, make sure that everything is as it should be, lean back into the belt, making sure that I'm nice and comfortable. That seems to be pretty good. The pressure on my hips is quite nice, not dragging me in too much, so I think it's about ready to go. I'm actually bringing my belt a little bit off the pole there, so what I might do while I'm here is just come back down and readjust it, and use this opportunity just to show you how easy it is to transition around the pole. One of the questions I do get asked is, if I'm pulling my handles back, will my thumb bang against the edge of the snap hook? And the swift answer to that is yes, if you're pulling very, very hard. However, there is no need to pull your hands right the way back every time. You notice how a nice, easy movement gives you a nice, easy climb. Same with descending. Okay, in this example, we're going to bypass an obstacle, but showing how we're doing it, just literally using a secondary fall arrest lanyard, and not using a work positioning lanyard as well for those techniques where it's just going to be a one-handed operation. So, as before, I'm going to climb in, set my belt for the pole diameter, get up to the obstacle, get my spikes nicely embedded. There we go. Get that nice and secure. Put my secondary in place. Park it out of the way. At this instance, I come up to the obstacle, got myself nice and secure. I'm going to give myself just a little bit of slack to play with. Come into the pole. Lift the belt up above the obstacle, pass it back round and clip directly into the rope. Unhook myself from the obstacle, get myself nice and secure, happy with where I am, and then disconnect my secondary. Retrieve the sling, pop it back in my bolt bag, or as is at the moment, on my carabiner by my side, and carry on up the pole. Descending is exactly the same principle. Get myself into a comfortable position, put my secondary in place, I'll lower my belt down a little bit, as I might struggle to reach my secondary to retrieve it.